Gino, is this kind of what you expected from Caitlin when you brought her here?
Uh, yeah, I mean, obviously, I've seen her do some great stuff over the years, even in this building when they played us when she was at Princeton. So there's no question in my mind that you know what she's capable of doing. Tonight was an example of it. It's you know it's not easy coming in and trying to fit with with a group like this. I think she had, I think somewhere along the line, I think she had a little too much respect for our guys. She just constantly kept saying, I'm with all these really good players. I'm like, where? Like she says, like just play. Like you're here, you're on the team. Don't worry about it. And I think that's she's worked through all that. I hope, and seeing the ball go in today, that was just great. That was great. I told her I couldn't wait for January to end because she's 0 for January. I don't think she had made a three in the month of January. So, but she's a Princeton kid. She said there's still a lot of time left in January, and she was right. Today she was really, really good in a lot of ways. Really good. That's it.
Yeah, Gino, you guys are shooting 70% through 3 quarters before you start emptying the bench. What did you like the most about what you guys were doing out there?
I said to the team after the game, I don't necessarily evaluate a game based on what the final score was. For me, it's what kind of decisions did we make during the course of the game, and we scored a lot of points because the ball went in, and the ball went in because we made good decisions with the ball, where it was going, who was shooting it, and we made great decisions defensively and how we were guarding them, and so by the decisions that we make, that leads to open shots, and then whether they go in or don't go in, you have no control over that, but being able to get those shots, and I like the fact that we went in at halftime, and I asked our coach, I said, was there a shot that was a bad shot that you would say, that's a bad shot? And I don't think there was one. So we're making a lot of great decisions right now, and, that's going to pay off.
14 points in the first quarter for Paige today. I mean, just you talk about her attacking the game more this year and not letting it come to her as much. How have you seen her kind of translate that, especially these last couple, and what does that do for the rest of the guys?
I think I've said this. There's a way that Paige manages a game that it feels like she has complete control of the game and that she can do whatever she wants. Would she have 9 assists today or something like that? To go with those points, and that's for the kids on our team. If we don't have that, if she's not in the game, that's fine. If we don't have that, but when she's in the game, and everybody's looking at her, and everybody's waiting to see, what she's going to do, then for her to go off like she did today. It's infectious, Everybody catches it, and it starts to, feed on itself, and she has that that effect. So I'm really I'm really excited about where she is right now. They told me I took her out before her triple double. I said I don't pay attention to that stuff. I should, but I don't.
Going off of what you said earlier, do you like the balance you're seeing between Paige and Caitlin in terms of who's bringing up the ball and who's directing the offense?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I do believe though that when Paige is coming down the middle of the floor, and we're able to get some ball screens for her in the middle, I think that creates a lot of, especially when it's her and Sarah together, that creates a lot of problems for the defense. And for Caitlin, it's a little bit of a different dynamic, but and then you throw KK in the mix, and it's an even different dynamic there. I like the fact that teams are seeing a lot of different ways that we're attacking them as opposed to everything's the same all the time.
Coach, they started off with the opening bucket. You guys responded with a 12-point run. How important is it for you guys to start off hot the way you guys did tonight?
That's the whole point. I'm auditioning for somebody to jump center on Saturday against Creighton. We need at some point. I think we've gotten one tap this year, and I would love to get the ball first and score first. I mean, I think anytime you can start the game with a bucket, but as aggressive as we were those first 3 or 4 minutes of that first quarter, when you're playing Villanova, because they're so disciplined and they run their stuff and they keep you on defense a long time, you've got to score, and you've got to score quickly and try to make them play from behind and rushed. So to get off on that 12-2 run, or that puts them in a bad situation.
Gino, you were able to play 12 again, and I know the score has a lot to do with that. But how deep do you feel comfortable with now? Is it 8, 9? Are you to 10? And having those people at least play well, you're able to limit, Pages down a few minutes a game, and Aubrey, not Aubrey, but AZ, Ashlyn. So if you're looking long term, how do you feel about what's going on?
I don't know. I think it all comes with a double-edged sword. I want my guys that I'm counting on to get a lot of minutes. And everybody, has always said, oh, they need to be well rested for the tournament. No, they don't. The last couple of years, we're probably the best conditioned team in America, and our guys play 38 minutes every night. So you build great chemistry that way. You build a lot of cohesiveness in your offense that way. Now, is that ideal? No. But players have to get the players you're counting on, and whether it's 8 or whether it's more than 8, they need their minutes. And playing 12, 13, 14 minutes, if you're one of those players, is not going to be enough on a regular basis. So it's great that we have that many players, but I need to make sure that the right players are getting the right amount of minutes. And then whatever I can find for everybody else, that's great.
What determines that?
What's that?
How deep you go into your bench? What determines it?
It depends on the game. Today 3 of them picked up 2 fouls right away, so that puts a different spin on it. It's just there's certain combinations that you have to have out there. So if nobody's in foul trouble, it's easy to manipulate the combinations you want. You get a couple players in foul trouble. Today we got AZ with 2, Ash with 2, KK with 2, and you're looking around like, I want to get those guys more minutes, but they can't get those minutes if they're on the bench. So it changes every day, changes every game. Sometimes the other teams match up, the other teams roster, who they're playing, who they've got on the court. I got to act like I'm coaching. I got to act like I'm earning my money. I can't just sit there and watch us play.
What's the process look like now that Aubrey's got 2 games under her belt? Is it just all about how she's feeling after every game and you go from there? Are there certain steps
pretty much
you're
pretty
aiming
much.
for?
Yeah, pretty much. So to follow up on that, that's another problem, right? Hey, you should play Aubrey more ahead of. So you have to kind of juggle this and, increase her minutes because I think she needs to because she hasn't played in so long. And too many minutes too soon is probably not good. But getting enough minutes so that you get a feel for it. So I don't know how many she played tonight. 8, almost 9, 8:45, 8:47. So maybe a little more on Saturday. See how she reacts, see how she feels the next day, and just keep going.
Gino back here, I don't know if 2 in a row is a pattern, but the last 2 have looked really good. Are you where you thought you would be right now? Are you ahead? Are you behind on the development of the team?
I didn't quite know where we would be. I didn't really have a particular vision of where it would be. I was hopeful that someone would rise up and it wouldn't be the Paige Becker show. And I hope that it's more than one that rises up and it's not the Paige Becker show. It can't be that to win a championship. So right from the very first game, Sarah did. So now right away you've got 2, and then the last game it was Azzy, and today was more of a combination of things, So as long as we have people contributing, I think we're where we need to be because we're getting contributions from a lot of people. And I wasn't sure who that was going to be. I knew who I wanted it to be, but I wasn't sure who it was going to be. So little by little, we're starting to get that. But the last 2, you're right. The last 2, it looks like, these guys have been together a long time. And they're not. They haven't been.
Just in case we don't get you before Saturday, just you and Creighton are the only last standing unbeaten teams. Let's use this.
Go ahead. I've been in Connecticut a long time, and they're catching up to me. Their starting lineup is catching up to me. It seems like they've been together a long, long time, the same group. I know they lost a big kid, so it's a little bit different, but their core, they had such an incredible run to the Final 8, right, a couple years ago. So they're experienced. They know each other. We're playing in a big building, so it'll be real exciting for them, for us. They're an NCAA tournament team, obviously, and it'll be a great game. It should be a great game. It'll be a great matchup. I always preface things by saying, you're not going to beat a team every year for the rest of your life. At some point, you're going to play. They're going to play great. You're not going to play as great. And if we're going to play the way we played the last 2 games, and they're going to play the way they've been playing, it should be a hell of a game. But I really have a lot of admiration for them and how they play and how connected they are to each other.
You don't have any control over this, but they come into this game, 2 of their best players are playing at other programs. Seton Hall's lost players, Creighton's lost players. I know it's the nature of the beast, but is it frustrating for the league to have these players that could be, bringing this league maybe up a notch or 2?
Yeah, it is. And I was talking to Denise about that before the game. It's an impossible situation to be in. You think of that Villanova team now, if they had the big kid that went to Maryland, Lucy, obviously, the little guard that, although their freshman guard is damn good. So, between graduations, right, you lose, normal graduation, and people that you think you have coming back, and you're building a team, and, you recruit, and you're trying to fill around that. Everybody thinks NIL, is about recruiting. NIL is not about recruiting. NIL, for a lot of schools, is about, do you have enough money to pay the players you have to keep them from going somewhere else, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But that's the world that we live in. And And yeah, I think our league. I think the Big East is in a precarious position there, because it's happened to quite a few teams already, and I just hope that the schools can keep recruiting players like the ones Villanova had and a couple of the kids they have now, and that there's some kind of connection that keeps you at that school. But I think the coaches are really, really concerned about, schools at that level and what this portal and NIL, what effect it has on them. It's really hard. I mean, it's really, really, really hard. And you see it on the men's side too. I remember reading Anthony Latina, right, at Sacred Heart, right? You have a couple guys, player of the year, nobody recruited them. You go out, you coach the hell out of them, boom, 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 boom. And then somebody comes in and the kids go off for a better situation. You can't blame the kids. You can't blame them. That's the option that they've been given. So, but if you're one of those schools, you almost have to, recruit like, hey, come play for me for 2 years, and then I'll make sure you're good enough to go make a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is.
Given how much you have dominated in the league so far, do you kind of welcome a challenge from Creighton and hope you get a good game there?
Yeah, I go into every game. We sat at the coaches were sitting around. I looked at Jamel and I said, hey, this isn't going to be like the last game, right? I said, it can't be. But every game is we treat every game the same way. So it doesn't matter. We're going to get ready for Creighton the same way we did against Villanova. Like we don't distinguish. This is a great team. This is a good team. That's a bad team. We don't do that. This team, Creighton, presents a lot of problems that Villanova doesn't. So yeah, it's going to be a much more difficult challenge, 100%. And first place is up for grabs, So that makes it, even more of a challenge for both them and for us. So, yeah, I want to see this. I want to see how we play, and I want to see, how we handle this. I'm anxious for it. Saturday in Omaha. Okay.
Paige, Caitlin has deferred to you guys a lot since she's been here, and it seemed like today was the first time she really just was more assertive offensively. How much does that help you guys when she takes that kind of mindset?
Yeah, I think it just brings a different element to our team. It's hard coming in here as a transfer, trying to find her way. She was a scorer at Princeton, and she facilitates a lot here. But just to do a mixture of both, we want her to be aggressive. We want her to look to score. It'll open up everything else, and it'll make teams guard her and guard everybody on the floor. So for her to continue to keep doing that, that's what we need from her, and what we need to be our best as a team.
Most comfortable in this system.
I feel like just getting to my pull-up, I haven't really looked for it much this year, but once I've started looking for it more and just like having the confidence of my teammates having my back and knowing that definitely helps.
Kaylin, Coach talked a little bit the other day about how you guys simplified the playbook a bunch over the last couple of days. Just can you talk a little bit about what that's done for you guys as a group and kind of how you saw that open things up for you today?
I feel like it's helped us flow really well within our offense. We're getting a lot of touches. We're just moving the ball super well from side to side and getting a lot of open shots. So it's definitely helped a lot.
Paige, how helpful is it when you guys are on the perimeter shooting, when you have such a force like Sarah Strong inside taking over in the paint?
Yeah, it just makes teams have to guard inside and out. And a lot of times Sarah can score on anybody one-on-one, so it causes people to have to double her, which then leaves somebody else open, and just continue to, like I said before, have to guard everybody and worry about everybody out there on the floor. There's not a person that they can't guard. So it definitely helps just opening. I think we like to play inside and out, so having that presence there is huge.
KK, what have you just learned from playing with Caitlin so far?
Sorry.
What have you learned from playing with Caitlin so far?
Just like her aggression, the way she finds her spots. Like she's saying, she's been more assertive, and as you guys see tonight, her finding her shot, her pull-up, and everything like that. So just looking at that, but also the type of leader she is, kind of the way she runs a team, the way she's out there calling the play, know which one's play to call, and defensive energy is something that I really look at and look up to her for.
Paige, played 12 players, 2 games in a row, and I think it's been like 6 years since it had happened, except for one game, during your career that you've been here. I'm just wondering, how does that affect you, as much as you want to play 40 minutes? How does that affect you, getting a couple extra minutes off? When you think long term, as you go on, you're at midway and point of the season. How do you feel physically, and does it help you, both physically and mentally, that you don't have to play 40 minutes, that you have teammates that can step up for you?
Yeah, definitely as a competitor, you want to play 40 minutes, you want to play the entire game, but having gone through that and having experienced that and having only, 7 available players, we'd much rather be in a situation where we are in today, where we have depth and we have people who can come off the bench and provide a spark, energy, scoring, and you don't have to play 40 minutes. You might not even have to play 20. I think that's just what this team is about. Everybody being selfless, being able, a lot of us who played here last year have sacrificed minutes, sacrificed playing time, but that's what this team is all about, and I would say it's a much better situation for us long term as well, in terms of being our best when at the most important time. I'd rather take this.
You did 14 points in the first quarter today. Just what do you feel like has allowed you to start so hot this year? Is it a change in mindset or anything for you?
Yeah, I definitely think a change in mindset. Also just reading what the defense is doing, how they're playing, but starting off the game with an aggressive mindset sets the tone for the rest of the team and how we want to start games. And then, just continue from there after the strong start.
Paige, do you feel like you've just found the perfect balance in your game, between the scoring and the assist? The last few games, you've just been outstanding and efficient in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, each game calls for its own sort of recipe and how you want to play it. But again, just I think starting off the game aggressive, looking to score, opens up everything else for my teammates, and my ability to assist and pass and get others involved. So just again, a mix of finding that perfect balance.
Paige, so Aubrey came back from her injury on Sunday, and she's been kind of getting back into the game little by little. What sort of void do you think she will fill in the lineup as she starts to gain more minutes and get more reps in as the season goes on?
I think the best thing about Aubrey is her defensive versatility. I think she can guard 1 through 5, and again with just getting more reps, getting more comfortable, and finding her way back. It's tough coming back from injury, let alone mid-season in the middle of conference play. Finding her way, but we know she's going to do it. We have full confidence in her. So I think that's the biggest thing that Aubrey can bring.
Okay, you guys face Creighton next on Saturday. I don't know if you've had time to watch them yet, or what are your impressions so far?
They're a great team, honestly, defensive-wise as well. We kind of match up well with them in terms of the sets they run. Kind of a lot of sets, a lot of communication on our end in terms of a defensive style, and just kind of back and forth ball, pushing up the ball and everything like that. So I feel like it'll be a great game, and of course we're gonna learn about them next couple of days doing scout and different things like that. So.
Show hands up there. Who wanted to see Paige get that triple-double? Paige, you looked up and you saw you almost had it. How much did you want that triple-double? You want a couple more minutes in that game?
Just wanted to win.